Building a fifth-generation fighter jet is one of the hardest things a country can attempt. The United States spent $2 trillion on the F-35 program alone. Russia took 15 years to put the Su-57 into limited service. China's J-20 program ran for over 2 decades before reaching operational status. Only 3 countries had ever done it. On February 21, 2024, Turkey became the 4th. The contract to build Turkey's first indigenous fifth-generation fighter was signed on August 5, 2016. Turkish Aerospace Industries, TAI, took on the challenge with the goal of delivering a true leap in national capability, a stealthy twin-engine jet that could eventually replace the country's aging F-16s and open the door to exports beyond Western control. From the outset, TAI faced a task that had stretched even the world's most advanced aerospace powers. The United States, Russia, and China each spent decades and billions of dollars to move from concept to flight. In contrast, Turkey's program moved from contract signature to a flying prototype in just 7.5 years, a pace that stands out in modern aviation history. The first concrete result came on February 21, 2024. In the pre-dawn cold outside Ankara, the Kayan prototype known as P-0 lifted off for its maiden flight. The sortie lasted 13 minutes, reaching 230 knots and climbing to 8,000 feet. An F-16D from the Turkish Air Force escorted the new jet, underscoring the symbolic transition from imported to indigenous air power. This flight was not merely a ceremonial hop. It demonstrated that TAI had successfully designed, assembled, and tested a complex airframe with fly-by-wire controls, digital avionics, and the basic systems integration required for safe flight, a bar that has defeated or delayed more than one advanced fighter program in the past. TAI's achievement is more than a technical milestone. It signals the arrival of a new national actor in a field once closed to all but the largest military-industrial powers. The Kayan's rapid pace from paper to prototype, faster than the F-35, Su-57, or J-20, reflects both the urgency of Turkey's ambition and the depth of its industrial mobilization. Yet the program's speed also brings its own risks. The P-0 airframe, while a necessary first step, is not a production representative jet. It serves as a flying laboratory, gathering data for further design changes and ground-based systems testing. As of early 2026, the P-1 prototype, featuring major refinements to stealth shaping, airframe strength, and internal systems, remains in ground testing, with first flight targeted for May or June 2026. TAI plans a total of 6 prototypes before serial production begins, a roadmap that will test the limits of Turkey's engineering and manufacturing base. These verified achievements, contract signature in 2016, first flight in 2024, and a clear prototype roadmap anchor the Kayan program in concrete progress. But they also set the stage for the deeper questions that define the project's future. Not just whether Turkey can fly a fifth-generation jet, but whether it can build, scale, and export one on terms that challenge the world's most exclusive club. The physical reality of the Kaan program rests on a design that blends ambition with pragmatism. The airframe stretches 21 meters from nose to tail with a wingspan of 14 meters, dimensions that place it squarely in the heavyweight class alongside the F-22 and J-20. Its twin-engine, twin-tail configuration is shaped for low observability, but with a focus on operational flexibility rather than pure stealth. The forward fuselage houses a diverterless intake system, a choice that reduces radar signature and maintenance needs. Internal weapons bays are sized for a mix of indigenous munitions. Early wind tunnel and computational studies inform the shaping, but the true radar cross-section remains unpublished. Turkish officials describe the design as semi-stealth, optimized for survivability in contested airspace rather than the all-aspect stealth of the F-35. Inside the skin, the sensor suite is built around the Aselsan Murad 600A, an AESA radar developed in country. This AESA system is paired with a distributed aperture system, infrared search and track, and an electro-optical targeting module known as Toygun. Together, these sensors emphasize fusion, combining information to support both air-to-air and precision strike roles. The cockpit is designed for high situational awareness, with panoramic displays and helmet-mounted cueing. Data fusion and electronic warfare functions remain under active development, with the first full demonstrations planned for prototype P2 and beyond. Weapons integration is a cornerstone of the program's independence drive. At the Paris Air Show in 2025, Aselsan revealed a suite of munitions tailored for K-on's internal bays: the Tolun Glide Bomb, Tolun IER with infrared imaging, the LGK Laser Guidance Kit, and the GOSD Dual Mode Seeker. These weapons are engineered for ITAR-free export, allowing Turkey to offer a complete sovereign strike package. Mock-ups at the show confirmed internal carriage compatibility, though operational release trials are pending. The munitions ecosystem underscores Turkey's determination to avoid foreign bottlenecks, but also highlights the need for ongoing validation in flight. The prototype roadmap is tightly scheduled. P1, the first production representative prototype, is undergoing ground testing, with first flight targeted for May or June 2026. It introduces major changes from P0, including reshaped intakes, reinforced structure, and expanded internal bay volume. P2 is planned for the end of 2026, bringing enhanced sensor fusion and electronic warfare. P3, expected in early 2027, will focus on production-standard avionics and full weapons integration. In total, 6 prototypes are slated to fly before serial production begins in 2029. The Turkish Air Force has signaled an initial order of 100 aircraft, with a total planned production run of 148 including export units. These targets are aggressive by any standard, and while the design and hardware are real, the program's ability to deliver at scale remains unproven. Each prototype will serve as a testbed, not only for flight performance, but for the industrial processes needed to make K-on a true production fighter. The question of propulsion defines the true boundaries of Turkey's fighter ambitions. Every K-on prototype and early production block relies on the GE F110 GE129, a proven American engine delivering up to 29,000 pounds of thrust. This engine powers Turkish F-16s and offers a known quantity in reliability and support, but it also brings a legal leash. Under the United States International Traffic in Arms Regulations, known as ITAR, every export of a K-on with an F110 engine requires American approval, handled case by case, country by country. The F-35 precedent looms large. In 2019, the United States blocked Turkey from receiving the F-35 after Ankara purchased Russian S-400 missiles. The same legal mechanism could restrict or halt K-on exports to any nation Washington deems problematic. For Turkey, this is not just a bureaucratic headache, it is a strategic bottleneck. The entire export logic of K-on hinges on breaking free from ITAR. Enter the TF-35000. An indigenous turbofan under development by TEI and TR Motor. On paper, the TF-35000 is designed to deliver 35,000 pounds of thrust, 6,000 more than the F-110. It promises supercruise, advanced cooling for stealth, and a pathway to full export autonomy. Turkish officials target 2032 for integration into production aircraft, with ground tests scheduled to begin in 2026 and hybrid airframes flying by 2029. The stakes are clear. As long as K-on depends on the F-110, its export future rests in foreign hands. Only with the TF-35000 can Turkey offer a fifth-generation fighter free from United States political control. TEI and TR Motor have become more than industrial partners. They are the program's strategic saviors. If they succeed, K-on will stand alone as the only Western standard fifth-generation fighter available for export without a United States veto. If they falter, the program risks stalling at the threshold of true independence. Indonesia's agreement to purchase 48 K-on fighters in 2025 marks a turning point for Turkey's ambitions. The $15 billion deal is more than a hardware purchase. It is a calculated move by Jakarta to avoid over-reliance on any one supplier, balancing French, Korean, and Russian jets in its fleet. Yet the fine print matters. Indonesia's order depends on a version powered by the TF-35000 engine that is free of ITAR restrictions, and deliveries are scheduled over 10 years. Without an indigenous engine, every export would need U.S. approval, echoing the same restrictions that have kept the F-35 out of reach for many countries. Indonesia's defense budget, less than 1% of gross domestic product, is already stretched across multiple modernization efforts. The contract's framework structure gives Jakarta flexibility, but also leaves room for delays or cuts if funding falters. In this way, Indonesia becomes both the first customer and a test case for KAON's ability to survive under real-world fiscal pressure. Other interested buyers include Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Pakistan. They face their own constraints, all seeking a fifth-generation jet without U.S. strings. The promise of KAON rests on delivering by 2032, when the TF-35000 engine is due. Any slip risks trapping Turkey behind the same export barriers it hoped to avoid. The stakes for export are high. Technical maturity remains uncertain. No public radar cross-section data exists, and true stealth performance is unproven. Serial production, planned for 2029, will test Turkey's industrial reliability. Fifth-generation programs worldwide have faced delays and cost overruns. Whether KAON can break this pattern will define its future. Today, KAON stands as a bold signal. Turkey is moving from buyer to contender, but the engine gap and export barriers remain unresolved. Until indigenous power plants and true serial production arrive, the monopoly holds. The world is watching to see if ambition can outpace dependency. Share your thoughts below.